Good morning, everybody. It's Shanda Sumpter and Corrina Stewart. We are here with you live at 6 a.m., a crazy, ungodly hour to be doing coffee with Shanda. I'm drinking my lemon and I was going to say lemon and lemonade, but I'm drinking my hot water and lemon this morning and night. You've got this cup. This is a special morning. Corrina's tuning in from Puerto Rico right now. She has been a client of mine for the last year and a half. She did my PACE Club program, is now in our 1% Club, which is basically people who are highly driven, that really are clear that they're going to transform the world, and they're okay with making millions of dollars. And so Corrina is going to share with me how she's been able to create. Now we are counting on Q1, we are at 120,000 cash in the door, and 68,000 of it was been in the last 15 days. And, you know, I only share this from the standpoint of like, I mean, who wouldn't want a result like that, right? Like, I'm not saying that watching this interview is going to give you that result, but, you know, there might be something that Corrina says that either unhooks an emotional trigger that gives you more bandwidth to really stick through the hard stuff, unhook from the thoughts that have you resist people, resist activities to be able to walk through doors that your greatest abundance are in. Or maybe she has a strategy that you can implement right now, or tweak a strategy that you're already doing to be able to get better results. And that's mainly for some of our clients who are watching, because you are doing the same thing that Corrina has done before you and continues to just rinse and repeat what she learned in PACE Club. So Corrina, welcome to Coffee with Shanda.
Thank you, Shanda. This is awesome.
I love having you here. So first of all, tell everybody what you do.
All right. Well, so I'm a soul wealth coach, which means I actually help people who are having money breakdown in their lives, but I particularly work with transformational leaders. So people who have this powerful calling in their heart, which I can deeply relate to because I always felt that. But I have a money story, a money block, a money limitation, and that's getting in the way. It's getting in the way of you stepping into this bigger calling in your life.
Well, and let's even jump right into this. I think I just love being straight up and to the point, right? So like, I want to get into how you created this income, but I asked you a question before we went live, and that was, I always tell my clients at some point you probably won't like me, and you didn't have that experience. You did not like me, but you did kind of have that experience when you first saw my online show. I did an online show, I don't know, a year and a half ago, that was called Moms Making Millions. And somebody sent you that show. And what was your initial response?
So my initial response, I didn't resonate with you. I just didn't, here's the thing. I really resonated with, spiritual teachers that at the time looked like me. I had walked through a path of like shamanistic practice, very cosmic work. And when I saw you, I just took you at face value and I went, not my coach. And then here's the thing. I had just come through a near-death experience, giving birth to my son. It was a very, impactful experience in my life. And I had made a commitment to myself and to God. And I said, I will walk through any door that I am shown that is for me in order to get my purpose out there. And then seriously, you were the first email I got. I heard this voice that said, remember, God is in everyone. And I knew that message was about you. And I quickly moved through that resistance, and I actually booked a call, and I ended up on a call with Jean Marie. So it was that quick for me. But you have these moments, right? We all have them. I've had them in my own, when people I get on the phone with, to interested in my work, interested in my program, and it may not sound like the way you think it needs to be. And what I've learned about that is it's because it's a place you've never been before. Yeah, and you were that for me. You were that for me, and I totally get that now.
I was reading toddler book. He's who I'm training with right now, and he's like all these athletes, and it's cool because he trains like football players are on opposing teams. And yesterday there was 2 rivalry teams. Drew Brees. Yeah. I'm not a football person, and somebody else who's his arch rival. Somebody knows who this is. Big, huge guy. Comes to the gym, and they train together. And they're like nemesis, right? And it's like
that's amazing.
Like, it shows you that, like, the way that they train together is so powerful because they're always watching each other and they fuel each other through like walking through the resistance. So
you got it.
It's so funny because you could have said no, and you could have stayed in the world that you were in before, and you drank the Kool-Aid and came in, and now we're super close. I mean,
and everyone wants to know what Kool-Aid I'm drinking.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't want to ever do videos when it came down to me doing videos or speaking on stages. I remember, sometimes our strength becomes our biggest weakness if we use it to either judge or like I can't tell you how many times I said to myself, I don't want to be on video. No desire to be this person. I just want to be behind the scenes. I want to be the fully make a difference girl that's never in the front. But I had to step up to the front to be able to grow the business, right? And now that's becoming a huge piece of my job. Okay, so let's get into like what was this whole jump financially? You know what I mean? Like what's this about?
Yeah. Oh, so the last couple months. Yeah. Here's the thing. This year, I declared I work on money consciousness, right? Wealth consciousness. And there's four codes, principles of money that I teach. One of them, the highest frequency of that, is money is God. And I declared this year, money is God for me. When I was setting my intention for the year. Last year for me, it was money as service. And that really showed up. What am I here to serve? And, I really strengthened my programs and strengthened my relationship with my clients and fulfillment. And this year I said, I'm reaching higher into what is the God money plan for me? And it became, this is my year of money as God. So honestly, I think that was the big game changer, was just positioning that first off.
Can I share something really quick? In scripture, as you know, right? In scripture, over 2,000 times they talk about money. And they talk about money more in scripture than they do about faith, than they do about praying, about being obedient, about going to church, any of those things. Like the number one thing scripture talks about is actually wealth and money. I mean, it's the number one thing. So I don't think that's an odd hit that you're getting.
No, it's not. And it's also, I know it's part of the bigger calling that I have, which is, it's so, and I've heard you say this, like being the planetary healer of money. I mean, we do that inside our companies and inside our work because it's been such a huge block on people's lives and a lot of confusion about the purpose of money. And right. So coming back to this, the last couple of months, I love that money is God, money is service. That's right. I declared that, and I declared that with my team. And I said, we're on a God mission. We're on a money is God project. And our job is to open the doors and see who wants to come in and serve them really high.
Okay. So, I always say that it's really hard to make money if you're not a buyer. Like if it upsets you when someone makes you an offer, you really have got to adjust that, because part of, the transaction, you know what I mean? Like, I can tell you what you're committed to. Go look at your bank statements for the last 90 days. That will tell you what you're committed to, because you spend money on what you're committed to. That's not a mistake, right? But, I used to get angry. When people would make me an offer, I used to get angry. And that was part of the healing that I had to do, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't know what it was for you, but it was like, you're listening to the resistance and running towards it. I do that now, but I think a lot of people like to talk that game, but they don't actually do it. Like I just there's somebody in the 1% Club who I love and adore. And I gave them a coaching, suggestion, and I coached them to something. And, the work they had to do as they came forward, like this is the power of commitment. They called me multiple times and had been in weeks of resistance about, like, I'm afraid to talk to you about this. And so a lot of people will take like, oh, that's about you. But it was about this person's journey of staying committed, and how long do you have to sit and stress about a decision or an idea that you bottle up versus coming to the forefront and working it out. And this person worked it out, and now all this stuff is opening up. You know this really well, right? Like now all these things are coming together because this person is not resisting talking to me about this thing, or totally didn't feel that they should do this, like a lot of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of righteousness on why they shouldn't do this
and
thing.
I get it. My husband used to, I remember when we first got married, and he used to be like, you're so righteous. And he's Catholic, and like, he's really, you know, so he really meant it in that sense of like, you're just not like in your God embodiment. And I would get so pissed. But honestly, like, my husband was like my first life coach, because, you know, in the sense of like, he just always held that line for me. And, you know, my own breakdown around money was I wasn't showing up. I mean, I wasn't 100% showing up to the job that I signed up for in this life, you know, and it took that near-death experience, you know, with my son, Emmanuel, you know, God's promise, that's the meaning of the name. And it was like, here, like, it's all here for you. And there was a switch that happened when I came into Pace Club, where I was already in that. I called Pace Club my Pace of Grace that year. And it was that it was all grace, and everything kept lining up and kept lining up. And some will look at that and maybe even hear these numbers, right, and think it was easy. It was and it wasn't, right? Like, it was all there. The grace was there. God was there. And at the same time, there were a lot of hard moments. There were a lot of hard moments. Moments when I thought, I'm not going to get, you know, all the people I want to interview on my show. I'm not going to enroll. I mean, I did 100 enrollment calls to fill my first year-long group program.
Yeah.
To get 10 and then have 5 back out and then do it again. You know, it's like, it's just, you keep at it. Yeah.
And look at you. I mean, look at you a year and a half later. I think we're getting a little bit of background noise. Hold on.
Okay.
Look at you guys. Look at you a year and a half later. Like, so you're like, pushing isn't the word. It's actually staying. Like, there was something that they said in church the other day. That's okay if you don't go to church. You guys just like hear the message. It was the minister said, you know, don't get out of the fire too quick, because while you're in the fire, you're being molded, right? But we want to jump out of the fire, but like, look at the power you have today and the knowledge you have today. Like, I would say it probably took another half a year to master what you learned in Pace Club to be able to start doing the things you're doing today. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so you start to get comfortable in the fire, where you're like, I'm in the fire again, which means I'm being molded, which means that I'm going to stay in this present step that I'm in. And then I'm going to come out the other side with this strength, this wisdom, and this power, right? Transform. So you did an online show, which is basically influencers endorsing you, and you built an audience. And now that audience is who you're working with. How many online shows have you done?
I've done 3. I've done 3 shows in a year and a half.
3 shows in a year and a half. And how are you monetizing that? Like, how are you actually reaching out to these people, connecting with these ideal clients? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so you know, I write emails a couple times a week, and it's something I absolutely love to do. You know, it's interesting. I had an email list, a very small one, before doing Pace Club, and writing was always something I enjoyed. And so I write to them multiple times a week. And here's the thing, is that I really go with what's going on in my life. I just go with what's going on in my life. And, you know, like, I put out a message last week, you know, where I said, you know, urgent message about your taxes. Because I had clients around me that were freaking out about their taxes. And I was really working with them on getting into their power and leading those conversations with their accountants and their financial advisors, so that, you know, they weren't feeling crushed and coming into this money limitation and not feeling that they were powerful enough to actually make more money to be able to pay that tax bill, because that's the power we all have. So yeah, I mean, emails, getting really vulnerable. I mean, I truly hold nothing back in my email list.
Okay, so you said something really important.
Yeah.
Sorry if you guys are getting back to that. You said something really important. That is the fact that you're using your life. You're using your life to be able to write these emails, which are then your life, because it has energy, right? Everything is energy. And I do the exact same thing. I always say, like, I have a whole marketing department in HeartCore, and I'm like, you guys, like, they actually use Coffee with Shanda to write my emails and my blogs. And then I look at them because of the fact that it's based on what I'm emotionally, energetically getting hit on right now. Right? And so I will use, like, if I see a bunch of my clients being successful, I will, like, that's happening right now all over the place. And so I'll use my clients a lot where I'll say, okay, you guys get to inspire the world, right? And so inspire people to keep going, inspire people to show them what you're doing, like all that type of stuff. But then there's other times where, like, we're in massive breakdown and, like, a lot of people are having challenges, or I'm having challenges. And then I use that information to share in emails or videos. And then what happens is people get connected to that and they start coming forward saying, I relate to you.
Exactly.
Right?
It's magic. It's magic. I mean, here's how I see it, is that is the wisdom that you are being given, whether you believe in God or what higher power or future self. I mean, I talk about it as it's your future self coming at you and saying, this is the substance of abundance, of wealth to share, because it will land, it will reach. And you've got to have that energy behind it. You've got to feel connected. You know, this is Amy Yamada, deeply connected, you know, emails, but you know, it's true. It is, you know, at the end of the day, take away our businesses. This is about human connection. That's right. And helping one another in this experience so that there's less suffering and that we're getting into, you know, what's the gold inside of us, because I do believe that everyone has a potential. That's why we're here. So, yeah.
So let me ask you another question. So when you write these emails, what's a great call to action to get somebody to come out and say hello to you or raise their hand to talk to you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I do two things. One is, you know, booking a call with me or my team, because now I have a team. So that was a transition, I'll say. And just to put it out there for those of you looking to build sales teams, I think it's a really good idea. It's really supported me. Shanda's helped me with that. And here's the thing, that is how you can have bigger impact. And you're actually just calling in more leads. Because I had a fear, and I just want to bring this out. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for that, right? I don't know if I'm ready for that, but it was calling at me. So I did it. And that is another strategy. I prepared the team. I made the team happen. And then we got more leads, right? Yeah. In my emails, it'll be, you know, if this matters to you, you know, like with the tax message, you know, if you no longer want to hide from your tax bill, right? If you no longer want to hide from the bills lining up, you know, in your mailbox that you're throwing away, if you no longer want to hide from that and become free from money worry, you know, book a call. We've got you. And here's the thing is, we really are here to serve people. I mean, we're not going to sell someone something if it's not going to fit. The truth is, the majority, I would say like 99% of the people we do get on the phone with, what we do will help them. Then it's a matter of, can we move them through their fear?
Well, but that's also about the emails that you're sending out are energetically connected to you. They're your vulnerability. They're your ideas. They're your positioning. It's actually what you're seeing out in the world, just reflecting it back out. And so you're calling forth the people who that connects with. So that's why a lot of them do end up being a great fit. You know, different cuts, and the next cuts are start looking at, you know, do you want, even though it calls somebody forward now, you'll start to work into, do I want that avatar anymore? And those are the next cuts. You know, I always say, you know, there's a certain level of leadership you need to run to be able to manage a group of 20 people. There's another set of leadership you need to be able to run a group of 60 to 80 people. Then when you start going over 100, between 140 and 160 people in a group program, there's a totally different leadership that you need. And then when you get over 160 and you're over 200 in a group, it's a totally different leadership. And as your company grows, you actually want to keep bringing in, I would say, the word comes to mind, like a nicer avatar, but really,
I know what you mean.
What I mean by that is, like, you know, I was an angry person at one point in my life. Do you know what I mean? And God bless the people who walked me through my fire at that point in time.
Right.
Like, as you grow your company, you start to be like, okay, I really only want to work with people who are a 9 or a 10 in wanting to get this transformation. And if they're not a 9 or a 10, I really don't want to work with them. And
Right.
that provides a lot of peace of mind as you're growing your company.
Absolutely.
Final
I'm witnessing that. Yeah, I'm witnessing that just to confirm, affirm that. I'm witnessing that because now the people who are coming through my door are really powerful, up to really big things, looking to reform the entire food system of the planet, looking to, and this comes back to my original work, as in the United Nations. And anyhow, that's all of your stuff, right? Comes forward.
So Corrina, so any final words for anybody watching that's growing a business right now or even thinking about growing a business?
Yeah, I mean, just speaking to your heart, there is that gold in your heart. And, if you're facing a tough time right now, if you're wondering, I'll just say become a yes. Become a yes to that higher vision. Commit to it first. And then the second is let people help you along the way. For so long I was a lone wolf. And the bigger that my community has grown, the more my income has grown, the more impact I've had. And that is how it works. So even if it's just today reaching out to one person that could, is a little further along than you are, do it. Make a commitment to do that today.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Run towards. Run.
Yep.
So if this was helpful for you guys, just share a comment with us below and let us know what your takeaway was from this interview. Did Corrina give you a little bit more hope? What are you taking away from this interview that you can actually go do something valuable with today? Of course, if you need any support from us, you're welcome to go to helpmeshanda.com. We are here to support you as well. We support people like Corrina. We support, real estate agents, people who are in network marketing, people who want to be paid for their advice, people who have a big calling that they want to get out to the world, and also people who have been in business for 4 years and they just haven't been able to break through that ceiling. What we require of you is to be open. We require you to be okay with running towards your resistance and taking that on, because the only way really through the ascension into freedom is to let your emotional triggers sit to the side as you're willing to be coached and taken to the next level. So if you want our support, you can go to helpmeshanda.com. The link is in the description area. And Corrina, I just love you. I'm glad that you didn't allow your thoughts that you didn't resonate with me and things like that to get in the way, because it's been a true pleasure to coach you. And I'm really excited to see as we announce your new shows that are coming, or your new show that's coming up.
My new show.
Yeah. And we're moving into a whole nother broader spectrum that never would have happened if you wouldn't have said yes.
That's right. That's right.
God bless, girl.
All right, God bless you. Thank you.
See you later.